Hasta la vista, baby. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Viture 1 XR glasses. Now, if you have no idea what these are and think they just look like some cool sunglasses, well, first you need to redefine your definition of cool, but second, they're quite a bit more than that. This is my personal first time using this type of technology, and that's the XR and AR glasses of the world. Viture sent me this device for review and a ton of extras, as you can see around me, but as usual they have no input in what I say and they haven't seen this review ahead of time. Okay, so I'm going to do this review a bit differently and just seriously dumb it all down. Not because I think that my audience needs it at all, but because when I was personally looking at AR and XR glasses and I came across a ton of reviews and videos, I couldn't understand a single thing about what it actually does. It just didn't make sense to me. I'm actually in the industry, and for me it was confusing, so that's how I'm tackling this, as someone who didn't understand a single thing, and then I got one. So condensing all of this down into its basic form, these are glasses that project a large screen wearing them, and it still allows you to see the world around you. That screen can be showing your phone, your gaming device like my Steam Deck OLED, or a bunch of other devices. Right now, I have my actual script for the video right in front of me, so I'm reading right off of it, just to make it easier for me because I can do so. So that's the general idea. Imagine a large screen, which Viture says 120 inches, that just stays in front of you and allows you the freedom to just have it projected anywhere. On a plane, on a train, on a bus, in my house. The price for this privilege as of today is $439 US for the base package, which is essentially just the glasses that you see here. There's nose pads, a connector cable that you can see here as well, and a case, which is right here. But there's other add-ons as well, which we'll talk about later that I'm just surrounded by, and we'll look into what those accessories actually do and if they might be worth it for you if you're considering this device. I won't say these are the best fashion statement you can make, but they definitely look off compared to normal glasses. But you sort of have to make that compromise if you want this tech. I'd probably consider this as a home-only device anyway. Hopefully that gives you some insight, as this is a slightly hard device to film, as I can't exactly show you what is in front of me and what everything properly looks like. The screen itself is pretty nice, and I find that it was basically necessary for me to either dim the sides of the screen, which you can do with the button, and then blocks out all of the light that's around you, or using the shades that you can get here, and this is an optional attachment, but if you put these on, then it just completely blocks out the world and you can't see anything through here, but I can see through the bottom. So I can see right now the camera and everything else around me. But with environments with a lot of light, you'd want to just dim the shades down, which you can do, or use the lens shades that I have here. The screen itself is a 75 Hz screen, and like I said before, it's said to be 120 inches, but it's hard to tell if that's really true. This screen right now just looks like it's pretty big, but I don't have a very good focus point for what the size should be, because no matter where you look, it just gets bigger or smaller. It's the same size in the actual glasses, so it's hard to really tell. The actual panels here are micro LED, which is pretty cool. There's also speakers right where your ears are, and that's a great addition just to have that kind of stereo sound feeling as well. All in all, if you're staring directly at the center of the screen of what they're showing, it looks pretty good. However, the edges of the screen make it a bit blurry to the point where it was hard for me to see the Windows Start button, for example, or the taskbar text. So in certain use cases, you might run into issues with that. But I will say that generally, for TV shows and movie watching and just games, I didn't find to have many issues with blurriness at all. It was actually really good for that purpose. Being able to just lie down, staring at the ceiling with a show or movie on, and just feeling extremely comfortable. I expand on the blurriness a bit later on in the issues section, as this might be a specific problem to me because I wear glasses, but we'll talk about how Viture corrects that. So I did try these glasses with a variety of devices that I own, and it didn't work with any of my retro handhelds, or my Kindle, which I have to say, having this project my Kindle would have probably been the perfect use case that I can imagine. However, it did work with my Steam Deck OLED, my Asus ROG Ally, which is somewhere over there, Lenovo Legion Go, Samsung Tab S7, which has my script, and my Samsung S23 Ultra, which is currently filming this whole video. So there's a variety of different devices that it works with, and if you have iPhones and Apple devices, it works with those as well, so you can kind of go along with a lot of different devices and having it display it. And for all of them, it works basically the exact same. You plug in the actual glasses into the USB-C slot, so I have it right into my tablet right now, wait a few seconds and you get a picture. For the Steam Deck and the other Windows handhelds, the screen turns off so you can conserve power that way and while you watch on the glasses. However, for my phone and my tablet, it doesn't turn off and it mirrors it. And it's a bit of a gripe for me because if you're watching a show or a movie, you would want the screen to turn off because you're not actually looking at the screen and you want it to save power as well. But I have a feeling that this is probably an Android limitation more than a Viture limitation. One other issue with a phone or tablet is that you can't actually see where you're tapping or swiping. So if you wanted to use the glasses to just browse the internet, for example, or really do anything besides scrolling, I had to look down at my device to do that. And at that point, it didn't really make sense to wear the glasses. There is a workaround and you can turn on show taps in the developer settings for Android, but that will basically turn them on for even when you're not wearing the glasses, which isn't what we want. Let's talk about the buttons on the device, and also I wear glasses, so how does this work for those? First, there's two actual buttons on the glasses. There's a small button that can turn on or off the dimming, like I mentioned before. It can switch to 3D mode for 3D content by holding, and then you can also make it so that the screen stays in one direction by triple tapping. So if you move your head left or right, the screen would only stay forward and you can see everything around you on the left or right. Keeping the screen only visible in one direction is actually a pretty cool feature, especially if your significant other is to your side on the couch and you want to talk to them and see them, but you don't want to lose focus of your actual screen, so you can just look right back straight forward and see the screen, look to the right, talk to your significant other, and kind of have it that way. The long button can adjust brightness or volume, which you can swap back and forth by double tapping the small button. That's basically it for actual button usage. However, there's also two dials on the top of the glasses, which are for anyone who does use glasses, like myself. You can adjust from 0.0D to negative 5.0D. And while I can't remember what prescription I'm using, I found that I can get a decently clear picture by adjusting both knobs until I got an image I liked. For anyone that needs or has a heavier prescription, which I might actually need, and we'll talk about that later on again, you can also order prescription lenses, which Viture has information on their website about. Or you could actually order just the frame and then have the lenses put in by somebody local if you know them. Okay, so let's talk about the extra accessories that they sent me and if they might be worth it to you, or what they actually do. First up is the lens shade, like I mentioned before. And I personally consider these as an absolute necessity, and they're only $9 US. The ability to block out everything that you see and you can just see a screen compared to just dimming your surroundings is something that I absolutely want in certain situations. Next up is the mobile dock, and at a balmy $129 US, this is a bit of a tough one. If you have the Nintendo Switch, like I do, this dock and the mount that connects to it, which is another $19 US, is basically a necessity. They also have a mount for the Steam Deck as well, and you can just slide the dock in right over here. I will say that with the dock mounted on these devices, it makes them exceptionally heavy, so just keep that in mind. Also, it works with any other HDMI device, like the PS5 for example, since it has an HDMI connection on the dock. And it also acts as a power bank with 1300 milliamp hours. I don't know if this is a necessity add-on in my opinion, but it obviously depends on if you have a Switch, a PS5, or any other HDMI device that you want to use these glasses with. Then we have the USB-C to glasses charging adapter at $39 US, as well as a USB-C extension cable at $9 US. The charging adapter is super useful to charge your device while actually using the glasses, so I'd say this is a borderline necessity. The extension cable is likely a bit more of a preference-based add-on, as I didn't find it completely necessary, but I could see it being useful to some people. So all of this probably sounds really cool, and I have to admit it's been pretty fun to use these and test them out. I've been super interested in this type of technology for a long while now, and happy to see what it's all about. Let's talk about the potential negatives here, for what I found to be negatives, to help you make a decision on if this is for you. First up is that edge blurriness that I mentioned before. Edge blurriness could be caused by astigmatism or other different reasons, so this is a tough one for me to talk about, and something that I think will be person dependent. For me, it's super noticeable. Even right now, I can see the edges of my screen, and it's really tough for me to just focus in on it. So I just wanted to bring it up because I still haven't found the sweet spot for just complete clarity. And just on that same topic, I think depending on the person, you can get the feelings of motion sickness or headaches or similar, depending on how used to this type of technology that you are. I don't personally own any VR units, for example, so I'm not really used to this type of technology or similar technology, and I found it to take me some time to just get used to the glasses. At the beginning, I was doing shorter bursts of just wearing them, and then progressively longer as we got along. And even right now, it's been about 16 minutes that I've been wearing them, and I've been perfectly fine. So there's a bit of a ramp up for just normal people when you're wearing these glasses. On the comfort front, I had a tough time wearing these. Viture advertises these as lightweight, which they are. They're only 78 grams, and I don't find them really heavy at all, but they are a bit bulky, and I found them to just have a clamp that's a bit too much on my head. Even right now, it's just a little bit too much on the clamp. I expect you could slowly stretch them out a bit over time and just get a better fit, but I just don't find them to be extremely comfortable. They're just fine. This also goes for the nose piece and just how close you can get to the glasses. They supplied 4 different nose fittings, and I didn't find any of them comfortable, and I just stuck with the default ones. I think I want the glasses to actually be closer because there's a little bit too much room underneath, and they're a little bit further away than I want. But when I do that and I use the other nose fittings, I lose the screen because the screen right now is a little bit close to the bottom, and so it's not exactly centered. You can't move the screen. And that's just a bit of another error that I just don't like. But if you're going to be using something to put these closer, then you can't really adjust the screen and it doesn't make sense. So this right now with the nose fittings that I have, which is the default one, is kind of the best that I can use unless I move the glasses a little bit further down the bridge of my nose. And then that just becomes weird and now I can see everything else and not a great experience. On that same topic, it's been 18 minutes now and they do get quite warm on the right side. Nothing too hot, but warm enough to the touch, and it's warm enough to notice. And so it's a bit uncomfortable when it does, but not exactly something that I'd call a deal breaker. All in all, to me, this seems like a really good first generation device, and I'm excited to see where they take this next. The big question now that a lot of people might be asking is this something I'm going to be using? And that's a tough answer. I think for me, I want to see if I get the prescription lenses to see if that helps with my edge blurriness. For me, that's the one major issue that I have right now, and if I can solve that, then I can definitely see a use case for this. They actually help immensely when I'm just lying down on the couch and want to play one of my heavier devices, like the Steam Deck OLED, and just lie down and not have to look at the actual screen. So if those lenses actually do make a difference for me, I'll make sure to do a follow-up video on what that looks like and just update it. However, I do have to say that after getting these, I'm pretty much definitely interested in these types of glasses, and I'll be following other brands and Viture's progress just to see as many of them as I can And of course, I'm going to be headed to CES next month, so I'll be looking out for all of these type of manufacturers just so I can try them all. The moment that someone makes these work with the Kindle, I'm in. That's going to be it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I tried to make this video as new person friendly as I could, considering that I was in this spot just a little while ago before getting these, and tried to answer as many questions that I personally had. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow, and hope you all have a good one.